The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Welcome back to Profiles. My next guest is following her sweet tooth all the way to Europe with stops stateside next year. When she's not writing, empowering business owners through her The Broke Socialite Does Empire Building 101, or producing Lavish, a blogger's lifestyle conference, she's planning the next Sugar Coma. Known as the Broke Socialite in the blogosphere, Shameeka Ayers is the brainchild behind the decadent Sugar Coma brand, and she's here to talk about all things sweet and her latest book, Instantly, How Quickly I Realized I Hate My Job. Shameeka, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Paulette.
You wear many hats.
I do. I'm a crazy woman.
But crazy is good. Crazy is good
sometimes.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. So now tell us about Sugar Coma events. What is that? How did it get started? And what's the European tour going to be like?
Well, the irony in it all is that I am not a dessert aficionado. It is my husband who's the sweet tooth in our home. So I think Saturday night, we were sitting home bored, trying to figure our next move, and really came up with nothing. So he said, you know, wouldn't it be cool if there was something like a pub crawl, but with desserts, where we could go around and taste, you know, goods from different bakeries, cakeries, what have you. And literally that was how Sugar Coma was birthed. So my light bulb went off. I had that moment, and that was in September of 2009. Wow. I worked feverishly to kind of mature the concept over the last quarter of that year. And on January 16th, 2010, we held our very first Sugar Coma tour here in Atlanta.
Wow, wow. And it sounds like it's a win-win for everyone. The cakeries, the bakers, the folks that have the sweet tooth or the sweet teeth.
Exactly. And it is sure enough a no judgment zone. So it gives folks who surely have the sweet teeth an opportunity to just sample, go behind the scenes at their favorite you know, pastry shops and get engaged with the chefs there, and then do a little bit of tasting. And after about 6 or 8 stops, they're on their way.
Wow, wow.
Yes.
It's really a novel idea.
It's
certainly
almost,
novel.
Yeah, it's almost too easy, to be quite honest. And I've tried to mess it up, but I can't.
Well, you have quite a following, and I understand some of those followers will travel to Europe with you later this year.
I am fortunate in that I have a very loyal community of sweet teeth, of followers, and it has been the dawn and the maturation of social media that has helped me reach all of these people across the country, so much so that, you know, folks are clamoring for Sugar Comas in their areas, and that's in the strategic plan, sure enough. But I will bring a group of daring sweet teeth with me in October. We will travel, and not everyone will come from Atlanta. Others are coming from Dallas, DC, LA, and we're going to travel to London and Europe. And we will taste and taste and taste our hearts to our heart's content. Sure enough, the bakeries, patisseries abroad. So we are really excited about it. We'll spend 3 days together in Paris, and we'll have a translator with us, and then we'll take the train to London and be there for 2 days before we head back to the States.
Wow, wow. Now, did you ever imagine on that evening that you and your husband were brainstorming that it would result to this?
Absolutely not, Paulette. I am a country girl from Covington, Georgia, and I always thought that, you know, I would do all the right things. I'd get married, have kids, have a house, I'd work my corporate job, I'd come home, I'd barbecue on weekends, and nothing's wrong with all of that, certainly. But there were certainly different plans for me.
And thank God for the different plan.
Oh, yes, sometimes.
Right? Certainly, certainly. Now, you talked about corporate America. Your new book, Instantly, is a reflection of your corporate America experience and the exit. Talk to us a little bit about
Well, I've been very coy about whether or not it's my experience. I have drawn from a part of my experience, and then having some very animated characters as co-workers, and then instantly was born. I dare to believe that everyone doesn't love their job. And I think that if more people were empowered to say that they don't love their jobs, then I think we'd be happier as a society. And ultimately, I like to say that Instantly is like a literary mullet. It's part of business in the front, in that it's a tale, and it's kind of the Devil Wears Prada meets Who Moved My Cheese, for those who remember that kind of business book. And it's the story of two girls from two separate worlds who certainly build a sisterhood, a sorority of sorts, over the hatred of their workplace and their dreadful cubicles. So while it is funny, it's entertaining, it challenges the reader, I think, to, one, if they're miserable in their jobs, to do one of two things: make something happen to get out, or shut up, because those types of personalities and attitudes can be toxic.
Certainly.
So at the end of the book, there is an assessment that has been developed by an HR professional. So that's kind of the party in the back part of the mullet. But, we're at a time, I think, in this recessionary economy, I think we don't like to talk about it so much, where people are getting laid off, and there is, and I've run the numbers, an alarming number of people who are choosing to exit corporate America, stage left, on their own. So I think now is, if you're going to leap, it's a good time to leap.
That's right.
If you want to try creative things outside of work to figure what your next move might be, that's a good idea too, and Instantly supports those models and mechanisms to get you to the point where you can either say, you know what, I'm just going to stay here and put up with it, or help you develop a plan.
Well, I tell you, Instantly certainly spoke to me, because I too was Nia Bordeaux.
Oh, how about that?
Get the book and you'll understand what that means. But it certainly spoke to me in my former experiences. And we recently spoke about having the audacity to even think you could step outside and pursue these passions.
Sure.
Can you talk to us about how that process has been, and what would you say to that woman, that man who hasn't yet come to terms, if in fact they do hate their job, they haven't come to terms and want to take that leap? What would you say?
Sure. My advice certainly to anyone who is at that crossroads from an occupational perspective is to take a step back outside of the emotion. It seems easy on the outside looking in to others who are your champions and who cheer you on because you've dared and had the audacity to take the leap. But it really takes a lot of planning. Before I made my own exit stage left, my husband and I sat down and came up with a strategy to determine how I could make the leap and it be as the least disruptive as possible. As a matter of fact, we have a son, and he was actually entering his freshman year of college. So, but it was time.
Certainly.
It was time for me to make the leap. And I would just say, if you've gone through those steps, don't tarry long. Just do it, because you can and will spend years and years and years. I probably should have left corporate America about 2 years before I actually did. I was getting on my own nerves. I was negative, and writing the book has helped me see that perhaps I could have had a different or experienced a different route if I had been a better employee.
Wow.
I checked out in some cases even before I gave the job a chance. And I was a corporate girl through and through. I didn't have a lot of jobs. I wasn't a job hopper, but you know, I never found that thing, like the passion that, you know, some people have for their jobs. I never really connected. I guess that's the best description of it with any job.
And until you really tap into that which is innately ingrained in you,
absolutely,
will you find joy,
absolutely,
peace, and contentment.
Absolutely. I sleep so good now.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Shameeka, you have given us the courage to have the audacity to dream, to have the audacity to pursue our passions, because you're doing it phenomenally well. Phenomenally well.
Thank you.
Certainly, certainly. And we wish you continued success with Sugar Coma Events, The Broke Socialite, look her up, and all of the other amazing projects that will soon come your way.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, Paulette.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And thank you for watching. I hope my guests have inspired you to follow your dreams. If you or someone you know has taken the professional path less traveled, like my guests Joe Manus and Shameeka Ayers, or you're an artist who'd like to be considered for Artist Spotlight, please send your request to profiles.cautv@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Profiles.